We're moving on to topic 2 now. We're going to talk about 2020 game releases, and we're going to talk about our personal game of the year winner, candidate, whatever you want to talk about. Game Awards this year, it was Last of Us 2 that won it. Not to a lot of surprise for a lot of people, to be honest.
Yeah, of everything that was done at the Game Awards, that's literally the least surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So looking at
Of course,
my
that SJW Snowflake game would win Game of the Okay, I'm sorry.
so looking
I
at
just loved. I love seeing those. I'm sorry.
oh, you're good. You're good. So yeah, looking at my game list now, I didn't play that many games this year, like specifically 2020 releases. I'm looking at it, and let's see, how many do I got?
He took out the pen.
I got 15 games here that I played for this release. And I don't know if I can accurately give a game of the year, because there's some on here like I played, but I didn't play all the way through. So I'm just
I'm
gonna
boo you if you don't choose one.
I'm going to choose one. I'm just saying,
Okay.
like,
All right.
I'm just
All right.
saying to you guys and the audience, if I don't pick this game, it's probably because I didn't finish it. So, like,
Uh-oh.
strong candidates. Brent's gonna hate me already because we talked about this months ago. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, your boy still hasn't finished, and I feel bad because I really want to do that podcast with him talking about the ending.
Every game we suggested, you just have not either finished or gotten to even.
I'm starting to think that he hates us.
I invited you out.
He just writes down lists of stuff where like you gotta do this, and then he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's got a list of like I'm never gonna finish this one.
You know what? I was thinking about doing that one because they suggested it. Nah.
Maybe 2028, you losers.
Oh boy. So yeah, I think 7 would be definitely a top candidate for me. The
Solid.
amount I've played, I got up to, I think it was chapter 8 or 9, just before you're dressing up as Cloud. So I know it's that part. Yeah. And I did reset again because I was thinking about, like I said, Brent and I doing the podcast about the ending. I was like, I need to fucking play this game and go all the way through. So I restarted again. I need to stay on top of it. That will happen.
On, the New Game Plus and getting. I still don't have Bahamut.
Hmm.
I never fired up a new game plus on that.
It's hard, man.
Shocker.
Like, the combat's fine, but the fact that like you can't use items in battle, ugh, that makes it the beginning really.
Oh
hard.
yeah, that sounds painful.
Can't you?
There's no item use in battle, at least unless mine is incredibly bugged. I was not able to use items in battle on New Game Plus.
Oh, maybe I think New Game Plus takes out items.
Yeah, you can use them between fights, but yeah, not during.
Yeah.
Weird.
That's accurate.
Let's see. Another shout out to candidate RE3 remake. I did beat that one. That was a lot of fun. Avengers I'm playing through right now. I am enjoying that one a lot. I know a lot of people had issues with it, but I'm having a blast with it. I don't think I'm going to do any of the multiplayer aspects of it. I'm having fun just kind of running around solo and zoning out, listening to something while doing those missions. But the main story I've really enjoyed. Doom Eternal was fun. As Brent mentioned last topic, I don't think it was as strong as 2016. Like, the combat was good. I don't know. I don't know if it was the weapons and how... I don't know if it was the progress of them. More video gamey.
Like, you have lives, and there's very clear power-ups and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I think my problem lied in that in any given moment there was too many things.
Okay.
Like, oh, you got a freeze bomb and a flamethrower, and you do the chainsaw to get the ammo so you can use the guns to do. It's like maybe I'm just too small brain for that game. You have to glory kill for health, and you have to flamethrower for this, and you have to freeze bomb for that, and like you're just constantly running through this script in your head, and you're like, I forget to use most of my abilities.
Yeah.
And I did like, at the very least with the original Doom, that you're progressing through what felt like one place.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, like, for some reason, like floating space castle Doom guy just didn't do it for me the same way.
Really levels,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like I said, they made it more video gamey, you know.
it did, yeah. Like that's another one where watching somebody who is more competent at that game is exciting and fun because you're like, oh my god, this is a symphony of destruction. Versus, you know, like the bad Jurassic Park theme on the recorder. Like that's me playing. That's me playing Doom Eternal. So.
Yeah, gameplay wise, it was great. Another thing I thought that kind of lacked was the how it looked. I don't know. It felt like very washed out, clean to me compared to what 2016 looked like. It looked more rugged and grungy almost. I kind of like that. I get it's hell versus, you know, in the real world, I suppose, and whatever heavenly Doom world. Yeah, I don't know. I personally, I like the look of 2016 more than Eternal, so that was something that the whole time I was just like, yeah. But it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Animal Crossing was a lot of fun. Did not expect to have as much fun as I did with that, and I mean that game hit a perfect time in the world, clearly, with the pandemic. So, but Kate and I played that a shit ton, 100+ hours into that. Another podcast episode. You can go when we talk all about that, and we reveal how long we played it. Haven't played it since, but it was fun. And then the one that came out of nowhere, Fall Guys. That was a blast.
Fall Guys is fun.
Yeah, we played that so much that first month or so it came out, and then we got super frustrated because I was dumb and wanted to do that 5 wins in a row trophy. Got to 4. Got to 4 and instantly flubbed the 5th one. But yeah, after taking a break and going back into that game from time to time, that's been a blast to play. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll just pick mine now. It's weird. I think I have to give it to Animal Crossing as my game of the year, but I don't know if I feel super strong about that. I still want to put FF7 over it just from what I've experienced, but also I don't feel like I can give it that because I haven't finished it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, it's not finished.
Yeah. So I think I got to give it to Animal Crossing for mine personally. Just like I said, how many people were talking about it, how it affected us playing it. It was just an escape, and whether you played it legit day to day or you gave in and time traveled, it was just fun hunting down all the villagers and making your island and figuring everything out. Oh, you can do this, oh, you can do that, you can collect the bugs, you can collect the fish, this, just little check marks and things you could chase after. So yeah, good times with that. Jeff, you look like you're pondering, so let us know what you're thinking.
I'm also my purchase history at work real quick.
Oh, okay.
My obvious best we talked about too many video games now. It's just this year, right?
Just this year, 2020. What is your game of the year?
Games that released in the year of our Lord.
Like I said, it's Control
2020
feels like
CE.
it came out this year itself, but it's not because this year's.
Well, 2020's been going for 32 years now, so
Yeah.
I can understand where you feel it's been long.
Yeah, I count this year as everything that came out after, between now and after the Game Awards last year. So, the obvious choice. Said Red Dead 2. I was like, nope.
That was last year.
Final Fantasy 7. I'm not choosing it because it's not done. It's not the game.
Oh,
it's the,
okay, that was your criteria. Interesting.
It's I loved it. I had a lot of fun. But I am in the unique position between the two of you where I did play the original, but only up to a certain point.
Okay. What?
So,
PS1. You played it all the way through. I didn't play it at all. He's the in-between of playing it partially.
I played it up until you get out of Midgar. And then maybe an hour or two after that, and then I burnt out or something. I don't remember what happened.
Okay.
So, I haven't gotten, I'm missing a lot of the big moments from that game because they haven't released it yet.
But you didn't play.
He just doesn't know what the big moments are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you every one of them right now.
Well, you think you do, but who knows what's going to happen?
Well,
That-
if we're talking
we're
originally, yeah,
not-
he knows.
We're not even gonna go down that path.
La 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 la.
I would say the game I probably had, if I base it on the thing I had the most fun with, probably Nemesis, Resident Evil 3 remake.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really wanted to enjoy Doom Eternal. I did. Like I said, my only complaints about the game were that they made they made it more video gamey. There's clear stages. There's like every time you get a new weapon, it takes you out of the game and into this weird little like VR space to give you
The
a
hub area.
tutorial.
Oh,
not even that.
oh,
just
that
like a
area.
single
Sorry.
gray room, yeah. And like when it came out, like it was so tense and stressful. Like I couldn't deal with that and everything that was going on in the real world. Like it's just there's too much tension that I couldn't do it, so I had to put it down after I finished it. I haven't bought a ton of games this year that I would consider game of the year material. Like although I have been having a lot of fun with Haven on the Series X.
Mm-hmm.
That has proved to be.
That game does look really good. I think that's on Game Pass for PC, and I'll probably play it.
I highly
on there.
recommend it. I really highly recommend it. Yeah. No, like Final Fantasy VII, obviously obvious choice. Last of Us 2, obvious choice. There's some missteps in that game, like narratively, I think. The ones that everybody else complained about are not ones I have a problem with.
So I guess out of curiosity, what were the things you took issue with more?
It's not so much
when
that
it came-
it's
Like just the
they
story
have,
that you felt like.
issues and stuff like that. They could have done a little bit better. Because when there's a character in it who's queer. I didn't even realize what was going on at first though.
Mhm.
And to be fair, that's on me. But like I know there was a huge thing about like I learned what dead naming is because of that game. So props on it for
So
that.
I was about to say, so you walked out of that game a better person.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't. It's hard to put into like a specific where exactly like I wouldn't give it. Of the games I played, I wouldn't give it all game of the year. I mean, I absolutely had a blast. I think it's the longest series I have on my YouTube channel. But there are moments where it doesn't give you a choice in the things you have to do, and I didn't want to do some of those things. I didn't like having choices taken away from me. Like, and some of it was me being stupid. Like, I probably could have saved a couple dogs if I had been a little sneakier. But instead, I had to shotgun a couple dogs. Wasn't a fan of that. Wasn't a fan of like there are certain things where like you just don't have an option for mercy. And I get that like that's what they were going for. They were trying to show like this is what revenge does to people, But still, it's hard to stomach sometimes. So.
Did Enigma take his headphones out because he doesn't want to hear spoilers?
I
Did you play The Last of Us?
No,
Why'd you take your headphones out?
yeah, I didn't play it yet. So.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
I spoiled
Okay.
anything, right?
Oh, I don't know.
No, you didn't, but
Okay.
I was confused.
I was
why
just
you
playing it
took
safe.
your
Sorry, I was just playing it
Playing
safe.
it safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing it safe. I wasn't super excited for it, to be honest. I don't know if it was just the hype of Last of Us 1. Like, everybody was like, oh, 10 out of 10 masterpiece. This is the best thing ever. Blah, 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 blah. So when I finally got to playing it, and I finished it, I was like, okay, yeah, that was good. So I don't know if it was just like everybody saying it was, this big thing, pushing up the hype, and then I just came out, whoosh, ground level. So when it came out, like, I was excited for people. I was happy for people that came out. But no, I have not played it. I got it on a sale, so I do have it in my backlog to try out. But yeah, no, I have not played it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that probably kept it from being my game of the year is that there were moments, and there are actually episodes where you can watch me play and be like, I let go, and I walk away. You're not going to pull a gun out of somewhere where you shouldn't legitimately have a gun and shoot me, are you? And it just happens, and I have to. It's not even named characters; it's just enemies, and I just want to leave them because like they're clearly no threat to me anymore. but yeah, it can be brutal. So
I
it's hard to work sometimes.
like I think that's one place that I differ from a lot of people who like games. A lot of people like games where it is your story and you're telling everything and you have a lot of choice. And I feel like when you give the player too much choice, the story gets
Mhm.
watered down because you have to take too many things into consideration.
Mhm.
That's why for
No.
me, I'm very much like I want to hear the story that's being told. I don't care what my character ends up doing. Like that's I don't watch a movie and be like, man, I'd have did that different.
Right.
Like I mean,
Yeah,
you
no.
know, with goofy horror films or whatever, like yeah, I wouldn't have run into that basement, but like I'm more of a fan gameplay wise experiencing the
Oh,
story that the person wanted to tell.
Mhm.
yeah.
And like I don't feel like I, I like to be along for the ride as opposed to driving it. Because I
Mhm.
feel like you can tell a much tighter story that way.
Yep. No, I totally agree. And that's why I said like that's the story they were trying to tell. They were trying to show
Yep.
what that does. It didn't make it a worse game. It just made it
Yep.
harder for me in certain spots.
Because
Again, that's part of the experience.
yep,
You know?
I will agree with what you're saying. There was a lot of times where I was like, don't know. I was saying this to my TV, like it was
Mhm.
gonna be like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of times where I'm like, no, no,
Yeah,
I can't do this.
I
But
wouldn't
the
have them
game
do
makes you
things.
do it, and you're like, all right, well, I hope this doesn't make me cry because I was the one that did it to myself at this point. It's
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah.
like that, I thought that enriched the game to me anyway.
Yeah, no, and it does. It just it puts you in a position where like you really have to reconcile these things.
Yeah.
But as far as the actual story and the story decisions, like I wouldn't have them change that. I love that story. That's a great story.
Mhm.
It's like that's the story they wanted to tell, and I'll always argue for that. Like you'll never see me taking the side of the people that's like, oh, I occasionally get videos on my YouTube feed for like the channel like how it should have ended, and I'm always
Yeah.
just like
4 hour
who
think
are you
pieces
to-
about
who
how
are
they
you
would
to
have made
decide
this
how-
better. It's like eat shit. You
Every
Yeah.
time I see a video for that channel pop up, I'm just like, fuck.
I've got a 360p webcam and I'm ready to sell it like it is. Okay,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Did you make Last of Us Part 1? No? Well,
Yeah.
then I don't think you get to.
Yeah. Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
That's. I guess that's my only thing there.
Yeah,
But
I 100% agree with that's the story that they wanted to tell, and that they did it, and like I would not argue with it for a minute, but like so many people complained about it too.
which it was bound to happen. It's a game that everyone was excited for, and they made decisions about the way that story was going to be told that there was no way somebody wasn't going to walk away very angry about it.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of the game, I'm trying to think of other reasons why, just aside from me enjoying it so much, that Resident Evil 3 remake was my game of the year. But there are so many games that just like got pushed back or didn't live up to what they were supposed to be.
I wonder.
I'm gonna say things about that in a little bit.
Yeah. I don't even know where to go on that. I'm hopeful, but and also like I got a new console. I didn't have money for a bunch of games too, and a lot of the games
Sure.
I got were smaller things like the new Story of Seasons or things like Carrion finally came out this year.
Carrion was awesome.
Yeah, but they're not game of the year material.
No.
I mean, if it is to you, I mean, this doesn't have to be.
I was about to say it. Like, I would have told you that Journey was my game of the year one year, which was not a big budget super game.
By the way, none of us included that on our last gen.
Well, it was a PS3 game originally.
Oh yeah.
That like Journey is one of my top 5 all-time favorite games. Like that game did shit to me.
And like the games that I really wanted. Wait. What year did see? And again, I don't like. My sense of time is so shattered. Did Kingdom Hearts come out this year or last year?
Last year.
Like January of last year.
Yeah.
That game's almost 2 years old, bud.
You know what, man? Like this.
This year's a year. No, this year's a this year's a year. I won't blame you for it.
Yeah, I'm just desperately looking around the room for like game that came out this year, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
And there's so many games like still just because of Game Pass like that came out this year I haven't just gotten to yet. So
Right.
Yep.
All right. So RE3 for you?
Hmm?
RE3
yeah,
for you?
so, yeah. And
Alright.
I would argue that if Control hadn't come out at the end of 2019, RE2 would have been my game of the year that year too. Like those games are just.
Okay. I thought you were taking. Sorry,
If they pushed it.
Like, well, if Control came out this year, it would have been my favorite game. Like, I guess.
Duh.
My favorite
All right.
DLC that came out this year.
Well, I'm gonna tear through some honorable mentions,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna walk you through my thought process between my game of the year between two of them. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Phasmophobia.
Oh, okay.
That game elicits actual fear. Like I watched other people play it, and I was like, this is dumb. This is big dumb. I don't care about this at all. But like when you're playing it, and if you really like take it seriously, and you turn down the lights, and you got the headphones on, and like you're communicating back and forth with your friends, like when shit starts popping off in that game, like it gets to you. It really does.
Okay.
Like using the near field communication
Mhm.
is really smart. Just the way that the ghost reacts to the things that you do, and like every ghost feels unique. That game is just it's terrifying, and it's a blast. So Phasmophobia, I'll definitely throw up there. Demon Souls, it's a remake of Demon Souls. It's a very good remake of Demon Souls.
Looks pretty.
It looks super good on a PS5. It's that one. So I just want to give that a shout out. Valorant came out this year. I really like Counter-Strike. I'm not good at it, so I don't play it. But this has that same kind of Counter-Strike gameplay feel.
Huh.
But it's got just enough Overwatch that it feels unique.
Okay.
But not so much Overwatch that it feels very ability heavy. Like at the end of the day, it's still, good sight lines, making sure that you've got crosshairs where you need them to be, so the second someone pops out, you can hit that shot. Very twitchy shooting. But yeah, Valorant was a really great game. I played a bunch this year. Neo 2.
Oh wow, that
I
was this
played
year.
Yeah, that was this year.
Ugh.
I played a boatload of Neo 2. That's I didn't finish it, unfortunately, which I don't remember why, but it's really great. It's again that Japanese setting, from software style thing, but with more kind of Diablo items. So a little bit more of a loot sort of thing, which is neat. But that was a really great game. Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, good. I was gonna say like.
Yeah.
You better say this because like if I had played that probably would have made my game of the year.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is really, really great. I think I made the cardinal sin of like, I'm gonna go to everything on the map, to the point where I was like, the story lost me because I was like too busy running here and there and like infiltrating this camp and that camp to get this thing and that thing, and I'm like, like it looked gorgeous, and like this is still on a PlayStation 4, but it loaded almost as fast as a PlayStation 5, which is stupid. Like I don't even know how there's a literal wizard that comes in the box of that game that when you put the disc in, like the soul of this wizard goes in there and casts magic spells to make that game work better. I don't get it, but it's just how it is. But yeah, I mean, setting wise, it's feudal Japan. It's like a true to life Japanese story. They've got Japanese voice actors. The voice actor is the guy who plays Pirate Hunter Zoro from One Piece. So like, my heart was in it right from the beginning. There was nothing else it could have been for me. So Ghost of Tsushima was really great. I'm also gonna give a shout out to Final Fantasy VII Remake because, like, I love Final Fantasy VII. It's a great game. I'm terrified that the next few entries in this are gonna be awful,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna leave it at that. I've
Well, once Enigma finishes and then the next entry comes out and then we all catch up, we can all approach it from different points. And if it is awful, and then we have different views, we'll figure out why.
I I know who's in charge of that game, and I know what other game he's in charge of, and you start to see some of those cracks near the end that I'm like, oh, motherfucker, you're gonna do this, aren't you? And then he does. Oh my god. This is like the perfect evolution of beards.
It is, Polar. It is.
Mine's very small right now.
I was gonna say, yeah, I probably have the most currently.
So Final
That's-
Fantasy VII, I have a lot of reverence for that original game, so I'm gonna play the next one. I'm excited for the next one, but I don't actually think it's gonna be good.
Concerned they're
All
gonna
right.
charge us full price again.
Of course they are. Why wouldn't they?
Game. I'm gonna end up paying like $200 for Final Fantasy VII, and it's not even gonna come with this. Well, no, actually, if I got all the statue ones, it ended up being like $1,000.
Well, you hope it's only $1,000.
Yeah. Depends on how many-
All right.
Well,
So
you got
here
the statue, didn't you?
here's what's that?
Did you get him a copy with like one of the special editions that came with the statue, or?
No,
who am
I
thinking
didn't.
of? I might be thinking of Greg over. Yeah.
Well, I'm very sad that I didn't. I wish I did, but yeah. So here's where things are going to get complicated for me because there's 2 games left. One game I've put a stupid amount of hours into, and I literally play it every single day, and I've put almost 300 hours since it came out in August. And the other game is just a tour de force, so this is very hard for me. So I'm going to talk through both of these games, and then I'm going to make a decision, I guess. So let's start by talking about The Last of Us Part 2. I know we kind of really touched on a lot of it already. I thought it was brave. It told a story that I thought felt relevant in a lot of ways. It never did something because they were worried about fan reaction. It was true to what it wanted to be, and it made sense. I know a lot of people aren't going to like that because there are things that happen in the beginning of that game, and there are things that happen at the end of that game that doing my best to dance around things, so I'm not
Thanks.
saying anything.
I mean, I can take the headphones out again if you need me to.
Getting a middle and an end.
Yeah, there's a middle that happens.
What? Oh God.
I think the biggest and smartest thing they did with that game is what they do with the second half of that game, because that is a gamble. That is a gamble that is either going to pay off tremendously, or it is going to flop as hard as it can.
Mm-hmm.
And they put all their chips on that second half working, because if that second half doesn't work, that game is a disaster, and I admit that thoroughly.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's where you need to allow yourself to get out of the way. And I think some people are so far up their own ass on certain things because they have preconceived notions about how certain things are supposed to be, and it just isn't the way that it's not how life happens. Like everything is not always this nice tight little ball. Like, things unravel and things get weird. So I thought that everything they did was smart. It was well told. It made sense. And to me, the second half paid off because they did the thing they needed to do to make that work. And it was just a truly exceptional game from start to finish to me. So the other game on this list for me is Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is a gacha game, through and through. It is a Breath of the Wild clone gacha game, but here's where things get a little bit interesting for me. Is like it could very much just be like a gacha game, and their sole purpose is to just extract absurd amounts of money out of you, and it can. I see where it can, but I have maybe spent $10 on that game, and like I still have more content. There's still more for me to do. The game is still interesting. There's I like the progression of getting your character stronger and the clip with which they're releasing new content. They just constantly have impressed me with like if I would have spent $0 on this game is still exceptional.
Well,
It's
you're playing on PC, right?
I'm playing it on PS5 now.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because it
Um,
is free on PC, but
it's free on PlayStation as well.
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah, 100%. Like that was what got me into the game. It's like, it was at a point where I'm like, I don't have a ton of money right now, so $0, try
Right.
this thing out. Why not? Let's give it a shot. And like the story is actually good, and like the combat's fun, and they've got this really great system of mixing elements. So like if you're in a grassy area and you use fire, all of the grass starts on fire. And then if you take a wind element and throw it through the fire, the wind absorbs the fire, and now you've got like a fire tornado. Like all of the elements play with each other in really smart and interesting ways. And it just
It's
it
it seems like it should have been a cheap knockoff that was just trying to cash in on another game, and it should have gone down like that. But it was made by people who actually give a shit.
yeah, like that's really the tiny claws are there of gotcha games where it's like I can see where somebody could very quickly be like, I gotta have everything, all of the characters right now, and then they just start throwing money at their screen, and then they have them, but they also spend $7,000. Like I can see that, happening,
So it's
and
like essentially, I don't know, pay to win is not the right way, but like you could unlock these characters just by playing, correct?
yeah. So like
Okay.
with my $10 I've spent, like I could have not spent the $10, and I would still be in the spot that I'm in, and like I have the best character in the game.
Mm.
Like it was by chance for sure. It is you're playing the lottery a little bit, but like there are several characters that you can get by playing for free, and like you get to do some of the paid like gambling things in there
Okay.
just by doing in-game events.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
like yeah, so like there's you can play through that whole game and spend $0 and still get a ton of enjoyment out of it. There's a lot of game there.
Okay. I didn't know much about the game other than it was Breath of the Wild thing, so I'm
Yeah,
surprised
and
to
like
hear about the different
to,
characters
to
and
me
stuff.
the Breath of the Wild kind of starts and ends with there's a stamina bar, and you can climb any surface, and your stamina goes down when you climb or run.
The general like look too.
Oh yeah, definitely kind of that cell shaded anime sort of look to it. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Gotcha.
color palette. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. But yeah, no, like the game continues to be great. They continue to dish out a ton of new content. Like, I'm actively excited for Wednesday because they're
There's a new
dropping patch. What's up?
There's a new character coming out real soon, right?
Yeah, so patch 1.2 comes out on Wednesday, and it's a new character. It's a whole new area to explore. A bunch of new quests, new dungeons, new items you can get, and it's all free.
Cool.
The only monetization in that game is if you want to do the wishes, which is kind of like the lottery gambling mechanic,
Okay.
which exists. But again, like, you will get some of that stuff for free.
Yeah.
It's just if you want to be a whale or if you want to be crazy, you can spend $1 zillion on it. So
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
So get like can't say enough good about Genshin Impact. Like I before I go to bed, I'm gonna log back in because I'm gonna have a little bit more resin,
Hmm.
which is like a thing that just gradually recharges. It's kind of like in most phone games where it's like you can
Oh,
do so
after a
many
certain
things
time.
in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you have so many things in a day. So like that's another way that you can spend money if you want to get more resin. But I actually kind of like the fact that I can sit down and play the game and like in an hour and a half, be like, I'm done.
Right.
I've used all my stuff. I've gotten all the things I can get. I'm gonna go do anything else right now
Mhm.
because I'm not one to be like I'm gonna spend $1 million now. So yeah, Genshin Impact. And I okay, I'm gonna do this real quick too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Cyberpunk. I'm playing it on a PS5, so I'm lucky that I can play a version of that game that doesn't look like dog shit. There is a good game buried beneath all of that nonsense. Like the story and the setting and stuff have all been very good. But I understand the complaints. I understand the gripes, and I do not begrudge anybody for being mad at that game or hating it because there are plenty of opportunities to hate it. Um, but I've again because I was lucky enough to get a PlayStation 5, that game is good.
Hmm.
It just is undercooked. That is one I would send back to the waiter. So I guess in terms of my game of the year for the 2020, it's probably got to be The Last of Us because like that one will leave a bigger impact on me in terms of like there were moments where I The Last of Us made me feel things that I don't typically feel in video games, and in terms of fear, in terms of like just a general anxiety about the things you're doing, and making me think things about people and places and things that if you would have told me at the beginning of the game I was gonna feel that way, I would have been like, absolutely not. But like they do it in a way that makes sense and in a way that pays off if you just allow them to tell their story and don't think that you know better than everybody that wrote it. I guess that's really the best I've got on that one.
Cool.
So yeah, I'll say The Last of Us, but there's a very large special place in my heart for Genshin Impact, and it deserved more recognition than it got.
Nice. All right. I like it. A range of different games, game of the year wise, and a whole bunch that we need to play more, or just we're expecting more of. I don't know. Yeah.
We still have a lot of Final Fantasy stuff to talk about. Just need people to finish the game is all.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I go on people's podcasts and chastise them for.
That's all right. It's deserved. It's deserved.